racism. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the NMMU choir.
Just to mention one or two things about the medley that you're about to see. This medley was put together mainly by the students with the help of a few choreographers from in and around Port Elizabeth. And as you heard, it is centered around racism. To begin this medley, we started with a piece called Uqamqagile, and that refers to a reptile that is plaguing a village. As a metaphor, this reptile stands for racism, and you will see by the sharp movements the reaction that the villagers have towards this reptile in their community. Moving to the middle of the medley, you will see a fantastic display of Xhosa and Zulu dancing, which was also done by the students themselves. And to end off, we have joined two pieces, the one being Shosholoza and Utando. We did this to basically give a message to the world that through respect and love for one another, we can conquer all the things that plague us in South Africa, our land, that being racism. So we do hope that you enjoy this program. Thank you.
Many Africans have died. They died for peace. They died for freedom. They died because of racism. So away with racism. Away. Hambili ma-Afrika. Hambili.
Ladies and gentlemen, while the choir is taking their seats, I do want to mention to you, that very often people don't realize the hard work that the choir puts in. Every year, Janita Lambrecht van Dijk has to actually start with a new choir. There are a few members who stay over and continue the good work, but she's actually had a large number of new choir members who joined the choir this year. And guys, I just want to tell you, and Janita, to you, that you've done extremely well to be able to put this together and function as such a unit within such a short space of time. So congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, you've had the starters. I think the VC referred to sushi and wine, but we now come to the main meal of the evening. It's my pleasure to introduce to you this evening Professor Catherine A. Odora Hoppers. She's going to deliver our keynote address this evening, and that is on transformative leadership and the humanization of the academy towards the integrative paradigm shift. Just some background on Professor Odora Hoppers. She is a scholar, a policy specialist and public intellectual on issues of international development, North-South questions, social policy, disarmament, peace, and human security. Within the UN system, she is a long-standing UNESCO expert in the area of basic education and lifelong learning, was a member of the International Faculty of the United Nations International Leadership Academy, Amman, Jordan, and has served as a regional expert to the World Economic Forum and the World Intellectual Property Organization on traditional knowledge and community intellectual property rights. In the area of peace, she is a member of the International Advisory Committee of the Hague Appeal for Peace, in New York, was a co-convener of the Global Policy Economy Commission, a member of the Council of the International Peace Research Association, and of the Faculty of Transcend. She was part of the team that prepared the United Nations study on the disarmament education submitted and approved by the General Assembly in 2002. She was also a technical advisor on Indigenous knowledge systems to the Portfolio Committee on Arts, Culture, Science and Technology. She is a distinguished professional at the Human Sciences Research Council, an associate professor at the University of Pretoria, a visiting professor at Stockholm University, Sweden, a recipient of an honorary doctorate from Örebro University, Sweden, and is a member of the Academy of Science of South Africa. Professor Dora Hoppers, I just believe that we need to fill in the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University somewhere there, but you are here this evening. In 2001, Professor Hoppers was appointed by the then Minister of Arts, Culture, Science and Technology to head the task team to draft the national policy and redraft the legislation on Indigenous knowledge systems, which is now under full implementation. In January 2008, she was appointed as the National Research Foundation South African Research Chair in Development Education at the University of South Africa, Pretoria, as part of the South African Department of Science and Technology's Strategic Knowledge and Human Resource Intervention into the higher education landscape in South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, that definitely is a very brief version of the CV, but we welcome you this evening and look forward to have you addressing us. Thank you very much.
Well, those starters were absolutely appetizing. So now, it was also yummy, yummy. So, I hope that we can carry on with the yummy, yummy feeling also into the main course. So, sitting here in this past sort of half hour, my brain was working. So I have my speech, but my brain was also ticking. And so I started to imagine that I was in fact the fly on that wall, watching with vivid envy as Derek and the chair of the council sat there thinking about what should be the words to be said, And I was watching with great envy the diminishing amount of wine from that bottle. I was hoping it would be Chardonnay, which is my favorite. Okay. But imagine also that I actually do not give speeches. I spell out parameters for action, an action for which I'm willing to walk my own talk. So I don't spew out things for people to go and do. I say the things that I'm prepared to walk myself. Third, imagine that the task before us is actually no longer just about critique or just about debates, what sometimes I refer to as that Anglo-Saxon nonsense that should go back to where it came from. Or that it is not longer about polemics, but it is about confronting colonialism with a project for its dislocation. What would we say? What words would we craft in that void of possibilities, of dreams, in the face of a status quo we are no longer willing to accept? What would be those words?